strangely angled episode of the Magic Box. I am Tristan Sean Gregson, here with Kyle Eck, and back again we have our special guest, Zach Preston.
Hi. I said hi. We can continue.
Yeah, I was just, giving you another chance.
Yeah.
You're so quiet, Zach.
Yeah.
Great tune.
So, we are post San Diego Comic-Con, where we got some kind of teasers about Theros, but not really enough to kind of...
Did we? I don't want to interrupt, I'm sorry.
No, you can feel free to. I just... add a little bit more to the conversation if you're going to jump in there.
Alright, sorry, what were our spoilers?
There weren't any.
There weren't any actual cards, but there was like...
Here's some art. Here's some things that we're going
to Here are some themes. For example, like Legends are coming back. And I like how the verbiage that went around the internet was not Kamigawa level Legends, but Legends matter.
Okay.
They showed us like the casting cost and the artwork and the creature type of a card.
But not abilities.
And power and toughness.
Yep.
Or was it? It was like a green, and 2 for a legendary Hydra.
Ooh, he likes Hydras.
We're also post MTGO Cube. Has been running for the last week. I have been streaming it. I just finished streaming a 3.0 draft right before going live with this podcast. So, that's fun. Something to talk about, I guess, a little bit.
Yeah, we'll do a little MTGO Cube
up.
wrap up, exactly. And then for kind of our main topic of the evening, we're going to delve into the history of the morph creatures in Cube. Hopefully a topic worthy of speaking of. I think that this was mostly the impetus of the swan song of Exalted Angel finally pushing out to pasture one of the Cube originals in a card that I definitely have a fond memory of in Constructed. But let's go dive in headlong. Let's go to some pick one, pack one time.
This is my favorite part of the show.
I think it's everybody's favorite.
It's not us talking, that's for sure.
No. We could just have a podcast of nothing but these.
Oh my god, this is such a more interesting pack than the last one you guys had for me when I was on.
Alright, so this pack, which is much more interesting than the last one Zach saw. Sarkin the Mad, Fire Blast, Kitchen Finks, Shieldred the Whispering One, Solemn Simulacrum, Master of the Wild Hunt, Young Pyromancer, Harrow, Necropotence, Rocky Tar Pit, Scepter of Dominance, Sunder, Ajani Vengeant, Exhume, and Porcelain Legionnaire. What do we like?
Zach, I'll let you take first crack here.
Johnny Vengeance.
So you say this one's more interesting than the last pack you were on for.
So there's still a very clearly first pick card here, but the backup cards are much better, and it's much more interesting in what might table out of this pack.
You're not scared about the fact that
the tier 2 cards.
Your verbiage is just mildly confusing.
Yeah. You're not turned off at all by the 2 colors of a Johnny as a pick one?
No. It's Cube.
Or moreover, he's just that good.
He's also probably top 3, maybe top 4 Planeswalkers.
Whoa. Things we should have already done episodes on. Haven't yet. Ranking the Planeswalkers in Cube. I mean, real quickly, it goes Jace, TMS, Elspeth, and then other cards.
That other cards is probably a Johnny Vengeant.
So you're saying number 3 best Planeswalker in Cube.
I think that's fair.
Yeah.
It's 3 or... It might be 4th, but I don't know what 3rd would be.
Gideon's pretty strong,
yeah,
and Karn is also
really
very
good.
strong.
Karn is, I think that might round out your top 5. It's just it's a matter of
where
kind of stacking them where they want.
Yeah, I think I like a Johnny Vengeant here, just because on power level alone, it's pretty far and away the best card in this pack.
And you're going to table something, right?
Well,
sure.
I mean, you're going to get another card out of this pack.
You're already going to be ranking mana fixing pretty darn high in your starting off. It was like you don't want to take this card and immediately.
Well, it's like you're gonna get the Scepter of Dominance, and then you have a sweet white base mana denial deck coming.
Or you definitely are looking to maybe get that Rocky Tar Pit, or even.
I was actually looking at the Sunder. Sunder's real good.
Two of Zach's favorite
kind of
cards.
Weird LD theme deck.
Yeah,
is really what you're going there for here. I think this is a unanimous across the board of Johnny Vengeant.
Oh, side note: Liliana of the Veil is probably a top 5 Planeswalker.
She's not as good in Cube, I think.
She's very good in Cube.
A lot of people play a lot of creatures.
I mean, part of the problem is she has black in her casting cost.
Also, yeah, that's certainly a problem.
The ability black is not a bonus to her.
So, a Johnny Vengeant, pretty much the slam dunk here. Mm-hmm. No real dissent among the ranks. So let's go to a scenario. So, before we get into this scenario, I would like to ask you a question. And that question is,
I don't remember.
Who picked those 4 cards?
I don't remember sending you these at all.
This is the scenario you sent me.
Really?
Yes.
I gotta check my notes.
So, what drugs were you on?
I can literally pick 4 random cards out of the current pack, and they would be better than the 4 cards we have.
You know, I think I copy-pasted something improper. Let me see here. That's 1. Yeah, here's scenario 1. These are the cards you have.
Yeah, that's...
No, that Strip Miner and Althagata are in the bottom set.
Oh.
That makes this way different.
Oh, did I fuck this up?
Yeah.
This is where we're at right now.
No,
What
we'll
are we taking?
we'll just read these. So I think Eck has all of the cards correct.
You just got them backwards.
He just doesn't have what goes where correct. So in this scenario, you currently have Crib Swap, Enlightened Tutor, which is not on this list.
Is.
Oh, there it is, right there. So Crib Swap, Enlightened Tutor, Strip Mine, and Wrath of God. So those are the 4 cards you have. You get past Zealous Conscripts, Price of Progress, Leonin Relic Warder, Duress, Eternal Witness, Sphinx of the Steel Wind, Venser, Shaper, Savant, Shieldred, the Whispering One, Packrat, Dryad Arbor, and Cascade Bluffs.
Okay.
So...
Yeah, it's right in the
really
email.
looped around somehow. Anyway.
Okay.
So... This is now closer to a real deck than we had prior.
For those listening after the fact, we took Eck somehow took the last 2 cards and put them in the cards we already took.
So it's... it looks like our draft is currently an abortion. And like, when I made this, I didn't notice my error. And I was making it live on the stream, like in between games. And people were like, what the hell is this scenario? And I'm like, yeah, maybe it's a timeout and we're trying to recover. Like, I don't know what this scenario is.
That's our scenario for the week. The scenario for the week is you're blacking out and...
Yeah.
Alright, so what are we
Yeah, what are we taking?
Are we picking based
So
on
it's
what's
really
on the
for us looking at this, these 2 like go up here.
You're pointing at a monitor. They cannot see.
But I read the people who are listening.
I
The
understand
listening
what's
people
going
know
on.
what's going
So-
on.
But I mean, like the viewers on the live stream
The 4
cannot
people
see you
here
pointing
that
at the
are
monitor.
watching
Yeah, 2 in the middle go down. You got it.
So
Okay, so what are you gonna pick here?
So I have a Strip Mine.
you have a Wrath of God.
So I have, like,
You have
I have
3
a-
white cards and a Strip Mine.
yeah.
Either Zealous Conscripts or Venser. Or Eternal Witness, I guess. I just want like a value guy, and the question is, what kind of value do I want?
Yeah.
Like, obviously, Eternal Witness Strip Mine, that's hot salsa. If Zealous Conscript, a magic card, especially with only 1 red, that card is bonkers.
This is your cube, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, I kind of like. It's funny. I think that Enlightened Tutor is almost exclusively a black-white card at this point. Like, I don't feel that it sees a lot of play or is very good in other color combinations.
You don't think Enlightened Tutor is good in blue-white?
No. Like,
That's interesting.
what does it get you?
Treachery.
Like,
Yeah, any kind of control magic's
any
really
type
hot.
of your mana rocks.
I mean, okay, if you have a bunch of awesome cards, but like,
Batter Skull.
you can base your black-white deck around.
Treachery.
I mean, what I'm hearing is that there must be a lot of good black enchantments.
Well, like, things like the Abyss is like
Yes.
a great
yes,
thing to build
yes,
around.
yes.
You know, bargain, things like that. You know, you can kind of work the black-white deck to be more enchantment-based. Like, if you have Treachery in your blue-white deck, awesome. But, like, if that's your only target, are you going to play Enlightened Tutor and go get it?
Well,
Like
it's
how many
obviously not your
treachery
only
effects
target.
do you have in your cube?
Anti-Mirage. I mean, the Mirage Shooters in general, like, Vamp Tutor gets a pass because it gets you anything. But they are a card disadvantage.
Yeah, I mean, you have to be picking up the slack there, where a card like Treachery gets the job done.
Okay, so what would you pick here? Because you didn't name a card, you just said you liked white-black.
I think I kind of like just taking Venser and ignoring that Enlightened Tutor. Like,
I don't think you're ignoring it. I just think you're taking a Venser.
I think what you want here is Duress.
Ooh.
interesting.
Okay.
White-black is a lot of denial-based cards. Sinkhole, Himatorax, things like this.
Strip
And
mine.
you already have that. So you're already like, going down that path. There's no reason. And like, you're more than likely going to get one of those 2 big dumb black cards back. Like, So you have a board sweeper already. So
I mean, you're most likely you'll see that Shieldred. You might even see that Sphinx of the Steel Wind.
It's possible.
Depending on if anybody took the Tinker.
Well, I mean,
or something.
You know, there's got to be a way that's useful with Enlightened Tutor.
I definitely think that Duress is a pretty unique effect in the cube.
Okay, interesting. I thought for sure I was going to be one of those value guys, and knowing my love for Revelark, I would probably just snap off the Venser. Unless I was trying to draft green-white LD as usual, and then I would take the Eternal Witness.
Green-white LD?
Like green-blue LD or something.
That seems too easy. Because there's clones.
Blue-black LD? Blue-white LD?
Blue-black LD might be the hardest.
Yeah, because we took out Sinkhole.
We took out the black LD.
Yeah.
Oh, you took Sinkhole out?
Yeah, we took out
all the black
We
LD.
brought back
Alright, my pick might go away then.
Just because there's no Sinkhole in the cube, so now you don't want Duress.
Sinkhole's a very good card.
Either way, I'm taking Venser. Eck?
I think I'm taking Venser.
Okay.
I'm going to stick with Duress.
Sticking with Duress. Okay, well, that's a little more interesting. See if Scenario 2 lines up, or if we're going to have to...
No, Scenario 2 is a real thing.
Alright.
So, in this scenario, the cards you've drafted so far are Sword of Feast and Famine, Batterskull, Sylvan Library, and Beast Within.
That's a good one.
Yeah, this deck is real. The pack you are passed is Elixir of Immortality, Jockle Hops, Duskmantle Seer, Isamaru Hound of Konda, Gaddock Teague, Naturalize, Increasing Confusion, River Boa, Porcelain Legionnaire, Inferno Titan, and Slayer's Stronghold. What do you take away?
Can I answer for Sean? Sean's going to take Increasing Confusion.
I'm also going to take Increasing Confusion.
And I don't think that's right.
I was going to say, and I had narrowed it down to Gaddock Teague or Inferno Titan.
Oh, interesting.
Interesting. I think it's Increasing Confusion.
I think it's just Riverboa.
I think the green-blue deck can use the Sword of Feast and Famine exceptionally well. Like being able to play a guy, untap and have counter magic or like Mystic Snake stuff kind of things open is sweet. And Increasing Confusion is also awesome with Sword of Feast and Famine, since you can like do it, untap your lands, get them for the double, and like basically fireball them out all in one turn in the later game.
I do like Tim's answer in the chat of Riverboa. It kind of makes me think that that makes a callback to 90s Magic.
When you have Sylvan Library and
no,
Riverboa.
Is Tim the KEZ?
Yeah, that's...
you are correct, Tim. The correct answer here is Riverboa.
You really? Is that like legitimately your pick?
Yeah, legitimately.
All right. I was going to say that his regeneration is mostly inconsequential, and while Island Walk is very nice, meh. It's like I wanted to go with like a creature cheap route. Like having Beast Within in a green-white deck is really nice. Having Sword with Gaddock Teague is kind of the bee's knees because you can get around all kinds of things that'll stop you from just raping their hand and Mirari's waking your own stuff. And then I also like the concept of just kind of like going big mana and going big stuff, and Inferno Titan is quite boss. So if I was going to play small ball, I would take Gaddock Teague, and if I was going to be like, oh, I'm going to, depending on maybe the contents of their packs or what I might think I'm tabling, I like Inferno Titan. So those are really the two cards I'm looking at.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I still like Increasing Confusion just because... like, Increasing Confusion is very good. Like, even if you don't end up playing blue, your green deck can very likely splash it with relative ease. And it attacks your opponent at a completely different angle than the rest of your green cards are going to. Which
it's kind of like it has zero synergy with the rest of your deck, though, which is the only thing that's a big downside.
Yeah, but, like, that's a great way to, like, beat getting locked out by Moat or Planeswalkers or, getting wrathed a whole bunch. Like, if you can't get through with your green dudes, then Increasing Confusion is a great way to just completely change the way the game is going.
Okay,
maybe if my Beast Within was a Call of the Herd.
But, like, so green, it has, like, really high-end creatures already, like, innately in its colors, right? Like, lots of 6, 7s, and 8s.
Sure.
And your
mostly
4
7s and 8s. There's only
sure.
6.
Oh, is that really?
Just
Alright, just
right
prime time? Okay. But in the 4 picks you already have are already very mana-intensive cards anyways. Like, why do you want to pick a 6-drop here? Like, your colors... The color you're in is already, like, innately higher mana curve in its creature cost.
Right, which means that
I'm
already going to be evaluating fixing higher. Like, I'm already going to be taking Kadama's Reaches, most likely, if this is the direction I'm going.
Sure, but you don't need, like, more 6s. Like, you're going to get those because no one else is going to take triple green cards, and, like, you're totally fine with them.
Yeah, but a card like Inferno Titan isn't going to be replicated with Avenger of Zendikar or...
by red play, did you mean it's not going to be able to shoot something for 3 points of damage? Like,
or shoot 3 things, or shoot 2 things, or shoot your opponent's face and kill
well,
a
like
planeswalker.
that effect isn't very good. Like it's like,
and that's the debate point, because I think it is good.
Inferno Titan is definitely one of those cards where I've seen it go first and I've seen it go 15th.
Yeah.
And literally everyone in between.
Yeah.
Sure, and I'm not saying it's not good in certain decks, but I don't think it's good in your green deck, even in a green ramp deck, especially in a green ramp deck.
Alright, then I can see. Alright, then I can take Galactine. Sure, I can't cast my Battery Skull. I'll just cheat it in with my
Stone Fortress stick.
Yeah,
I can tell you from experience that never.
Zach is the king of having his Stoneforge Mystic hacked.
All the time.
Rotisserie draft. First pick. Soul Ring. Alright, I'll take Lotus. Alright, I'll take Ancestral. Alright, I'll take Batter Skull. Oh, okay. I'll take Stoneforge.
Heck that shit.
True.
Alright,
to be fair, you do it the other way around. You take Stoneforge, but
the end of the day.
Galactine.
Riverboat.
I'm still going Increase of Confusion.
I'm glad
I like
they're
the
all
synergy with
very
Sword.
different.
I think we take very different routes at this point.
It's just a weird
The Choose Your Own Adventure book, it's very complicated.
The
from that
Increasing
point.
Confusion is just a weird one-off to me. Like, I get behind the whole, like, aggro green, need resilient guys thing. I don't follow the line on Increasing Confusion.
I like it. I think the fact that it's different is one of its strengths for the green deck, personally.
Yeah. No, it can definitely be one of those things where it's like, oh, the board's kind of stalled up. It's like, all right, mill you for 6.
Yeah.
Oh, no. Next turn, mill you for 18.
Yeah, like... Alright, well that was the...
You should have more of those.
Just do 2 hours of nothing.
Actually, one kind of, like, crapped out on me that was pretty good earlier. I don't remember what it was.
Oh, like a tapped out draft?
Yeah, I was just, like, mocking stuff up, and it, I thought I had a good 4 card. I wish I remember what the 4 card was, but it was good.
So we are now in the wrap-up of the MGGO Cube week leading into the M14 release. Tonight's the last night.
Zach, did you get a chance to MTGO Cube draft at all?
I watched Eck play a cube the other day, and it didn't go well for him. And then I came in and watched Eck 3-0 the last game in his last round, and that was the extent of my cube this time around with the mono.
How about you?
Not so much. I drafted 6 times. Once I jumped into your draft, although we did not meet in combat, or I did not really see much of your action. So.
Right, you actually
But
played
you
the
guys
guy that beat me.
Both lost to the same person. That deck was an abortion.
It was so bad.
I didn't... It's funny.
I am Twitter proof of the sky falling, though.
Oh, but, so you posted that picture, and like, none of the cards that he played were anything of the cards that he beat me with.
Oh, okay.
Like, I recognized, I was like, well, I think I recognized that Wooded Bastion, but like, everything else is different.
No, you played the Angel of Serenity against you, I'm pretty sure, one of the games.
Maybe.
That card's a house.
That card's a house.
For those that haven't seen it, if you go to my Twitter account, there's a great picture. I cast Eureka, and I think, like, I've got the bee's knees, because I'm holding Ulamog, Grave Titan, Master of the Wild Hunt, and I also have an Oblivion Ring. So I'm like, okay, well, if things go really sour for some reason, if he puts, I don't even know what I was afraid of. I was like, something in play. We've got this covered. And of course, when you're like resolving Eureka, you kind of do this little dance where it's like, here's my second best card, and you're supposed to think it's my best card. All right, now what are you going to put into play? All right. Well, I'll put in my Master of the Wild Hunt. I just want to see. Keep. Show me what you have. Show me what you have.
I don't feel like this dance is a real thing. I just take my hand and like put it into play.
All right. Well, Eck has a different line than I do. Like, for example, if my
opponent, why try and like mind game your opponent? They're just going to put all of their permanents into play.
Not always.
Then they're idiots.
Okay. That is a line you can have.
I just like
let's say you're my opponent and you're holding Journey to Nowhere.
Okay.
Like, wouldn't I want to wait? Like,
if I'm holding Journey to Nowhere and my opponent casts Eureka, my assumption is that he's going to put an Eldrazi into play because that is the only reason you play Eureka.
It's interesting. My deck, I didn't need to have an Eldrazi. I could have had various other things. Could have had
creatures, right?
Could have had a Gristlebrand. I'm just saying, like, there are scenarios, like, for example, that O-Ring. There was an O-Ring in my hand.
Sure.
If my opponent, like, didn't put anything into play, I'm not going to dump my O-Ring into play.
Well, no, but
if my opponent put, what was the second thing? He put Acidic Slime into play, I'm not going to put O-Ring into play.
Well, okay, like, you are listing situations where O-Ring literally does nothing.
Okay,
If your opponent does
Anyways.
not put a permanent into play, then you're winning with Eureka regardless of Oblivion Ring.
Interesting.
If your opponent puts a come into play disenchant effect into play, you're not going to put an enchantment into play.
See, the irony is the enchant. It worked out pretty well. So I'm thinking I've got this covered. Like, you know, whatever the big cheese, if he has in his hand, he puts down. I've got it. He drops Angel Serenity, which means he gets to scoop my Grave Titan, my Ulamog, and consequently my Master of the Wild Hunt. And while I can O-ring it, which I will need to do in order to not die to that thing in the air, those cards all go back to my hand. And thusly, it's like I cast Eureka for my opponent.
Right.
Because he got to put all his stuff into play.
Yeah.
And I showed him Eureka.
It was an Angel Serenity Eureka split card.
So my opponent, at the end of the day, when the dust was settled, he had put Acidic Slime, Angel Serenity, and Wormcoil Engine into play. So even though he made the would-be mistake of choosing Oblivion Ring as the target for Acidic Slime after I had chosen the target...
Right, he got the stack ordering wrong.
Well, it's not that he got it wrong, it's just active players go on the stack first, even though it's my turn, even though his guy entered the battlefield first, because we're resolving this ancient sorcery.
Yeah, like that's what I mean, like the stack ordering got him tripped up.
Yeah, well, I mean... whatever. He casually won the rest of the game after the dust had settled.
Yeah.
So
I think my favorite
that was an awkward moment.
My favorite moment, I did a number of drafts. I think I did like 7 or 8 in total, and I bombed out of a couple and I threw out a few of them. But my favorite moment of the entire thing was I was playing like a blue-black, little bit of white reanimator deck, and I had gone my board was I had like drawn up to 8 on my turn to discard Iona, untap, play a land, necromancy it against my white-green opponent, naming white. And my opponent's board was a Voice of Resurgence and nothing else. So then he untaps and plays...
He had a Wall of Roots.
Did he have a Wall of Roots? It was like very irrelevant.
He had
like,
2 lands and a Wall of Roots, so it was like very awkward.
Well, so he ended up playing Sword of War and Peace and equipping it and hitting me for like 1 trillion damage. So
because you had 7 cards in your hand and discarded.
Yeah, exactly. So I just got hit for a truckload, and then I can't block it with my Iona. So what I ended up doing is
you vamped it
play
in
a
turn.
Right. So I get Surrender Befried, or it was Surrender Befried or
But the fact
Unburial
that
Rites.
you vamped it in a turn was relevant because you also gave him a token.
Yeah, but the token couldn't do anything because I had a blocker. He never attacked.
You now
me.
had a blocker.
So I play a land and I play Surrender Befried.
Okay.
I chump block his sword-wielding Voice of Resurgence.
Yes.
My turn, I play my 5th land, Unburial Rites, targeting Surrender Befried, and I'm at 7 life. I chump block again. Next turn, I play my 6th land, tap 5 of it for Gilded Lotus, tap Gilded Lotus on my 4th land, flashback Unburial Rites, targeting Surrender Befried. Block again, untap, tap my Gilded Lotus for green mana, and the rest of my lands to play Avenger of Zendikar into a fetch land. To get back in that game. So
X Reanimator deck, which was pretty much blue-black, featured a Bogarden Hellkite, an Avenger of Zendikar, and Iona, which
I can actually get on board with all of these cards.
and I could cast all of them
with the Gilded Lotus.
So which was very relevant. That deck was very good.
So to finish off my cube experiences so far this week, I had that one where I followed you. Then I just rattled off nine casual, easy match wins. Red blue Grixis. With like no problem. It was like, well, there was one draft where I literally had every blue card of the draft.
I feel like my experience with this this round of cube was that like if your deck didn't have islands in it, you were probably doing it wrong.
I
feel like that about pretty much every cube.
If you weren't managing your mana well and you weren't utilizing the fact that there are so many non-basic lands, you were doing it wrong. Like I definitely ran into a mono black opponent where it was just like, this used to be cute. But now there's all these lands. Like, this is just...
This is sad.
It's just, yeah, like...
I tried,
had to time that guy out. It was so bad.
I tried to mono red deck twice. The first time the draft itself went poorly, but the second time I felt the deck was good, but it just didn't matter. You know, when your opponents have access to every color and every powerful spell, like, all of a sudden your 2/1s for 2 just becomes so much less impressive when your opponent is not constricted in what they're doing, because they just have infinite mana fixing.
Yeah, I definitely think somehow, I think the post-Mox iteration has really made it that we just don't have that. I mean, I played against mono during those 9-match win spans where I just had like very spell oriented like Augur of Bolus is the bee's knees style decks. Like I just got like Inferno Titan, Consecrated Sphinx as my 6 drops. Like the mono black opponent I had a timeout. Like I eventually had to Narcolepsy a guy, Tameo a guy, and Capsize would buy back his 3rd guy every turn.
And I think that,
But to say, I played against mono-colored opponents of everything but blue.
Yeah.
During that span, and all of those decks like looked really good for cubes that were lower powered, but in the format we're playing, where it's just like so casually getting all this fixing.
I feel like the best deck I had on the entire weekend or week was 4 colors. And it was just like...
And that was probably a deck that was 2, maybe 3 colors most, but then just like could for free
it was
have
for
access.
free, yeah. Just
like that Terminate deck you drafted.
Yeah, you just randomly take every dual land out of packs that don't have a card you want, and then you just, now I can play all these random cards. Like, by pack 3, you could just take the best card out of every pack and probably play them. Like, there was actually a draft where I was like 3 colors or 4 colors. I was like, I wasn't going to play red. And I was like, I can't play red, and I passed a couple red dual lands late. I'm like, I'm not going to take these because I'm not going to play red. And then I ended up opening a bunch of awesome red cards. I was like, man, I could have just taken these and played them for free. Like, I could have taken that Huntmaster and played it, or taken this, whatever, and it would have been, like, awesome in my deck and completely free if I had just taken those dual lands instead of taking these, like, sideboard cards.
You guys talk about this like this is not how you draft Cube every time.
It's been different iterations for MTGO Cube. I mean, our Cube is a very different environment. And Zach, I think you're very right here saying that as much as I love to support the monocolor strategies in Cube, and I think that our Cube does a pretty good job. What was the last time you drafted? Well, maybe you're a bad example.
That's not true.
You're king of the 5 color.
I draft a lot of colors, but I have definitely drafted mono red recently, and I got my ass kicked, and I won't do that again. And I used to draft mono white a lot because mono white bears, even though Sam hates them.
I'm gonna say that's pretty old intel though.
Yeah.
That was back in the old mono black,
that's
mono
Cold
white
War intelligence.
battle.
I definitely don't draft mono green. I mono blue every once in a while, but not really. That deck's just, if you get behind, you can never catch up.
I feel like
don't have the tools.
our cube is kind of similar to a lot of cubes where the majority of decks are 2 colors, and you can reasonably go more, you can reasonably go less, but it's harder to go like 5. And I feel like the Moto Cube, that line moved, and like the average deck was 3 colors.
But I think that also a lot of people that we play Magic with evaluate the mana fixing higher. Where people in MTGO Cube, I'll see
15th pick dual lands.
I'll see 11th to 15th pick Pain lands all day, and I'll see 6 to 10 pick Buddy lands most days of the week.
Yeah, I definitely tabled a Tundra.
And seeing like 3rd to 5th pick fetch lands, no, better than that. We can go better. We can go 4th to 7th pick fetch lands is also not outside the realm of possibility.
Yeah, I think that, I don't know if it's just a lack of experience or the fact that people are cognizant of, well, there's so much fixing, I don't need to take it early.
Well, look at it from the perspective of casual Magic enthusiasts who want to play the most powerful format there is. They open a pack with lands in it. They're gonna like, Misty Rainforest. They're gonna be like, Nicol Bolas. They're gonna be like,
Nicol Bolas. That is true, but you need that Misty Rainforest, otherwise you're never gonna cast that card. But to get on the thing, Painlands I think are abysmal and should be taken out of Cube.
I think, I agree with that.
They're so free. Like,
they're so
I used to
bad.
be indifferent to them, but now I love them.
So bad.
Because every time I see them, I'm like, I totally can just get these later.
I'll never want to play those cards ever.
What they did is, no one ever drafted them because they're bad, and I'm not arguing that point, but what happened is you just ended up with, like, 2 or 3 of them randomly, and all of a sudden, like, you could splash whatever you want for free. Like, you don't have to actively seek them out. But, like, they just enable you to just randomly play Maelstrom Pulse in your red deck or whatever.
I mean, for me, especially in my MTGO draft Cube experience, like, literally the existence of the cards Underground River, Caves of Koilos, and Adakar Wastes have allowed me to find many different iterations of, well, now I'm just casually playing Vindicate, no problem, or now I'm just casually...
That's what I mean. And
this Divine Tutor is getting in my deck,
like, and the fact that there are all 10 filter lands, too... Like, really allowed, like...
Oh, man. I to finish up my Cube history of the week, I came home late last night, and I was like, okay, I'm getting in the queue, like, I've been on a good streak here, I'm on a good run, it's been good times. Miss most of Pack 1 and part of Pack 2 to just disconnects. End up, though, with a Esprit, hopefully not at all Grixis deck, and my round 1 opponent I had a Tradewind Rider Parallax Wave going on,
Okay.
and my opponent had a Sundering Titan that he like powered out through like Ancient Tomb Basalt Monolith, and then I proceeded to slip and slide his guy under the Parallax Wave, back out, return it with the destroying lands in play that were non-basics, and slowly just kind of like tremoring him. Island, swamp, island,
Yeah.
island. It was very amusing because of all these non-basics.
Right.
They were in my deck.
Yeah, and I think
I didn't
that
have like a counter spell.
Well, he would be pretty out of mana all the time.
Like after you did it like the first time, you would just like be banned out, right?
Well, then I would just tap my Tradewind Rider and bounce a land.
anyway.
All right. I guess that's
Yeah.
Anyway, so I think the MTG. One thing I really liked about this version was the payout was a little better. Actually, getting booster packs as opposed to getting nothing was a nice change of pace.
Didn't they used to give booster packs out?
They
Just,
did for a while. The last
random
iteration
ones?
though that they did before this, all you got was cube tickets.
Those things are untradeable too.
Correct.
I mean, that's a hard way. I've drafted on multiple accounts and could not merge.
Yeah.
We've taken that topic
Oh,
before.
Yeah.
I apologize.
No.
It's fine because it's a relevant point.
We
to
ran
talk
into the
about.
raved. Again, this is one of those scenarios that we like to close out this topic. I do wish that we got the 2-week system. I really miss the. If you take Cube and put it in 2 weeks, and there's 2 weeks of Rise of the Eldrazi draft, starting with, I guess on this side, a week of Cube, so you have enough time to not only acquire the packs but then play with
draft
them
it. Yeah.
after the fact. I mean, it's really kind of unfortunate that the glory days of Cube drafting online were those TPF queues that were Nick's ticks, and so for 2 weeks you got
Yeah.
to Cube, you got paid out in TPF, and then concurrently there were 8/4, 4/3s, and Swisses of TPF that were Nick's ticks. Oh, I'm like,
Yeah.
could not draft enough. It was so good. But we're just asking for a little bit now. We can't even get the ability to really bask in Rise of the Eldrazi, one of the best limited formats.
I
of
didn't
all
get to
time.
play it at
Are
all.
they pulling that off too?
Yeah.
When they pull the cube down, they're pulling the rise.
Because
down?
because M14 hits tomorrow.
The pre-releases.
Which is-
The
so they're
pre-releases
just
start
getting
this
rid of
weekend.
anything that's special, so that they don't.
Yeah, I mean, that's kinda-
They put the
right.
special queues up in to lead into the set releases so that people have something to do while they're waiting.
Like if they just kind of push out the rare cube animal during the times where it's like, well, you don't really want to be on MTGO, but now you do. Now you do.
I mean, I think that at this point, I didn't get to play Rise at all. I have the packs, but I didn't get to draft it, and I'm not going to tonight.
You should probably sell those.
No, just sit for next time.
But I think at this point,
I would.
people are kind of
Slash
used to
10.
what Cube looks like online and kind of what the situation is. And I feel like what people are asking for at this point is pretty small, minimal requests, like an article explaining changes.
Well, maybe since this last update was so small and changed so few cards, it would be time for someone of our persuasion to go and make that article. Because in the past, it's been a daunting thing to be like, oh, I want to do a write-up in the MTGO queue and talk about archetypes and strategies and all these important things.
There's 150 new cards.
Yeah, and then things like
What he's
Players'
asking for and
Champions
what you're
can
describing seem like two different things. He
Yeah.
wants an article
I want-
explaining why the cards are being changed.
Whoever curates the cube,
Yeah.
I want their decisions. Like the same way.
why they're doing that.
Like we get an article for the banned restricted list updates. Anytime they add a card to the banned restricted list or take a card out, they have at least a little paragraph as to why. I don't think it's too unreasonable, as long as the change isn't 200 cards, to get a saying we felt that this archetype was undrafted or not drafted enough, so we wanted to change it. We thought this was too powerful, so we brought it back. What they're thinking, I think, is more interested than trying to provide analysis after the fact.
But I'm saying that I'm not talking about after the fact. If changes are going to be streamlined and they're going to be kind of shortened up from here forward, which would be nice, it would be a great opportunity to go ahead and make that kind of master series for MTGO Cube. I did not read Justin Parnell's article today. Did you?
That's why I typed the word yes.
Well, would you like to? Well, I'm now saying things out loud, so the people listening to this after the fact.
Yeah, I didn't even know there was someone talking. I wasn't sure what you were saying.
So, I'm hearing from the internet, thank you, Norbert, that Justin Parnell's article that I had only perused early this morning and did not get a chance to read might have tackled the topic of MTGO Cube. What did he cover today?
So Parnell had been talking about kind of the various things of the MTGO Cube that, talking points, things like, why do we not get to understand anyone? What the changes? Why don't we get to hear about why they do the things they do? Why is the system so limited i.e. things like cube tickets and the payouts. Why are, it kind of like, here are my various little problems with the Moto Cube and things like that. And again, it would be one thing if, they would, I feel like it's just because Cube is so, every couple of months you only get it for a little bit, I just want it to be as good as possible and as enjoyable as possible.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So I would rather see them put the effort forth in supporting the Cube online than just using it what they are actually using it for, which is just a blatant money grab for the week where no one's on Moto. Everyone's waiting for the set to come out, so here, let's march this thing out that we don't actually really care that much about to just get a bunch of tickets out of people.
But how is that related to us trying to spearhead the topic of if it's going to be easy, if it's not going to be such sweeping changes, we can actually sit down and extract some information from it and try to deliver that to people that would be useful?
How do we know it's not going to be such sweeping changes?
Yeah, there's no...
So literally, they change it. It's whims. It's whatever they
this
feel
is what I'm
that's
saying.
what we're going to do.
We don't get any of their reasoning for anything.
You explain the reason why you don't get any of the reasoning.
Yeah.
You don't care about it.
Exactly. So it's you get making an article about the Cube list as it stands right now is potentially meaningless because the next update they could change 100 cards.
It's as meaningless as complaining about them not explaining it.
So how many updates of
Then
only
we have a podcast.
how many updates of only changing a few cards will it take for you to be maybe?
It would take 0 updates if they would just say, "Hey, we're not going to change a bunch of cards."
But
it would literally take a tweet.
But we have to operate on the assumption that we're not going to have that satisfaction.
We're not even going to get a tweet. Whoever runs the Cube can't send out 140 characters while on the toilet about this.
Doesn't Jack Hall run the Cube?
Why don't you just tweet him?
I don't tweet.
Not you.
Oh, okay.
I know you do. I was talking to the guy that's very frantically asking for a tweet.
I don't even know who currently moderates the Cube. I think
that would be Zach Hall. So, hopefully, most likely, I like cube changes. I like bigger cubes. I like making that the new interactions. I like the rabbit holes of strategies. I like all those things. So I'm not opposed to broader and more often larger changes. But it's interesting for the MTGO Cube because it's around so infrequently that you don't really familiarize yourself with it. It's almost more jarring when they're going to go through and gut a bunch of cards and change a bunch of things. And hopefully, with the Players' Championship setup that they did, we're in a place now where they're happy with it. And I think from the article that we saw based on the Players' Championship, that was kind of what they wanted. They wanted to add more fixing to it. They wanted to make it a format that's going to have more access to those colors. And it is
not in the Players' Championship this year.
So that means there probably won't be a sweeping change to it. That probably means that it's just going to be a more of a back burner type project.
It really seems like
it should be in the Players' Championship.
That is true.
But hey, we're the guys sitting here talking about Cube on a Tuesday night, so...
it just seems like that they're going to put whatever changes they make to the Cube, or whatever the newest thing is to them being the creators of Magic.
So
I think
the Cube online is just a vehicle for them to show off whatever
it's like
it is they want to
advertising.
show off. So
it
the
made
sweeping
sense.
changes,
it made sense when they were doing the sweeping changes. Where it was here are the new sets out. Here's 50 cards from it.
Sure. So
because I understand their logic of we want you to see the new cards so that you will buy packs.
So someone just got lazy with Dragon Spirits.
There were only 4 cards, which surprised me. I thought there would have been more.
Because someone took a back seat in the process and was people talked about those, just change it real fast. Let's go.
Yeah.
All right. Well, so then in all likelihood, we will not have the opportunity to have kind of a Magic Online Cube Masters class because we will go back to it and we'll see with M14. M14 is a great example because we changed so few cards. And we changed a lot of cards in Cube. We didn't make that many changes. So if Wizards does their update a set from now and is okay, well, we changed 4 more cards in the Cube, or we changed 25 more cards in the Cube, they'll give us a really good barometer for okay, well, it's ever shifting, a lot, or it's maybe it's a little more narrow, and we can find things to kind of cultivate that.
Again, a little communication. All I'm asking for.
I guess I'm just so used to working on the other side of the world here, where it's just take what you've got and run with it.
Yeah, it really seems like just be happy that they're giving you anything.
Yeah.
Don't complain.
they could just as easily
I'm on the internet.
never do it again.
they could just as easily not post an update And you just go into the queue and you're like, oh, Young Pyromancer's in here. I wonder what came out.
Very easily just not let you queue all night.
Yeah.
Like,
Okay.
We'd survive. But we don't want that. We want everything.
I understand. I'm just saying.
They could very easily pull the plug on all of Magic Online. I mean,
No, they could make so much money. They couldn't do that.
right, and Cube
They
makes,
would never be
Cube
able
makes the money too.
Speaking of Wizards of the Coast making lots of money, over the weekend we had the San Diego Comic-Con panel where a lot of Theros mechanics were spoiled, and we learned a lot about Legendary coming back to being a big thing in the fall set. Now the question for us as Cube drafters, how does that affect cards that may already be in print and their values? Is it finally time that we can take Caracas off that list of it's just a plains and I'll draft if I'm in white, but I'm not going to actively take it, and move it up into the echelon of this could be part of an archetype. Maybe I really want this card.
I think this conversation should be filed under, let's talk about this when we've ever seen an actual card. Because, like, assume that, okay, there are going to be new legends. Okay, that makes cards that care about legends better because there are more of them. Like, every time they print a legend, Caracas gets slightly better because, like, there's potentially more things to do with it. But we don't have any, like, all we know is there's going to be some amount of legends, not Kamigawa level. Heroes, monsters, gods is the three kind of pillars. Top-down design, but that's not relevant to Cube. And that's it. And
Oh,
enchantments.
Wait. It's Heroes, Monsters, Gods?
Yeah.
That's pretty
It's Greek mythology.
That's pretty sweet.
Yeah. So, enchantments matter, presumably.
That could affect Cube. It could finally be time for Enchantress.
But we don't know.
I know.
Because we haven't seen a goddamn card.
God.
You
What
gotta
we
get-
did see that
Get aboard the hype machine, Eck!
what we did see from San Diego Comic-Con that is relevant to Cube, especially for people who are working on a budget, is some of the cards out of the new From the Vaults series coming in a couple months. The most exciting of which is
Cool Ultimatum with the new artwork. Yeah!
I'm actually really excited about that.
Nickel Bull is bitch slapping a man!
Sorry, it's
Is that the artwork?
Oh, he's bitch slapping Sark and Vault.
Yeah.
That's even
You should bring it up for the audience
I fucking
and
hate
Zach.
Sark and Ball.
Everyone hates Sarkin Bull.
I did not entirely mean to steal your thunder there, Eck. I believe Eck was alluding to the imminent and final reprinting of Jace the Mind Sculptor.
Are they reprinting Jason Line Sculptor?
They're foiled Jason Mind Sculptor and From the Vaults.
So many people are going to be pissed.
Well, and so what that is, anytime they do printing of stuff like this for picture.
You've really chosen an interesting way to go here.
This is where I saw it before.
Oh.
So anyway, from a Cube perspective, especially if you're looking to own new cards or look for new cards.
Oh, it's one card a year?
Yeah, it's one card
I have
every
no idea
year.
what this set is.
Yeah. No. That's just the old pictures. Anyway, so
I recommend Reddit.
It's great for people who do not own a Jace, who want a Jace, who have one proxied right now.
It's great for people that have really nice local game store owners who want to be really nice to their local customers. For everyone else, it's kind of like this awkward, like, there's a really cool party in town that you're still not invited to. And for those people, I feel really bad, and I don't like it. I think that Commander's Arsenal has taught us not to do these things, and you'd think that as much as there was what I felt like reasonable accessibility for this last go-around of From the Vaults, that was probably because their interest level was kind of medium-sized. It wasn't as over-the-top as I feel like this product's going to be. So is there going to be a good fix for this? Is it really going to impact people like the Cube community that much? Again, we have the new foil Himdatorak with the Magic Online Cube artwork.
Foil
Oh,
Impulse.
Yeah,
That's pretty sweet.
There's a new foil Impulse for those of you that don't want to have to go out and find the Friday Night Magic one. But to me, it's like, well, would I really want to use the new foil artwork when we have the old,
A lot of people like the new stuff over the old
very
stuff.
classic?
Yeah, I mean, some people like.
I guess that's pretty clearly Sark and Roll over there.
Yeah, new frame versus old
Is it?
frame, that kind of thing.
I don't know. It kind of looks like
Are
it
you
is.
saying that sarcastically? Because it's just a blurry dude getting hit.
There's got to be a cleaner image somewhere, but that one's not so bad.
Yeah. So,
I think if you just go to the mothership page, it's kind of on there.
anyway. So, I think, having reprints like this can only help Cube players who are looking especially for one copy of stuff. Oh, well, I haven't picked up a Jace because they're too expensive. Oh, well, now I can get one maybe from the vault, or I can, maybe there's a tournament at my local game store where the prizes are from the vaults, or...
And for all you LGSs out there, I think that's the best bet for players. If you kind of hold tournaments and kind of use those from the vault sets as a prize, I feel like your player community has an opportunity to make a win-win out of it. Kind of like the Comic-Con style line for people is not the best, I feel, and the jacking up the retail price is also not very nice. So if you're on the LGS store list,
what's it retailing for?
Same as they ever do.
No,
MSRP is the same as
no. So it used to be From the Vaults were 15 cards.
Yeah,
and the MSRP was $34.99. Since
Yeah.
it's From the Vault 20 with 20 cards, the MSRP on it was supposed to be $39.99.
I see. Right, but they never actually sell for that.
Yeah, I don't think I've
Yeah.
seen it.
I remember some dragons. I remember dragons selling for MSRP for quite a while.
Really?
Wow.
Oh yeah, From the Vault dragons.
My friend was at the Gen Con that year that they sold them
The
earlier.
first year that they did, that was the next one. I remember Exileds and Relics. I stocked up on those bad
I
boys.
tried to get him to wait in line for me at 6 a.m. Just like, nope, not gonna happen.
Yeah, Relics and Exileds were really the bread and butter days of the From the Vaults because they would do that Gen Con thing, but like the store owners still thought it was like dragons. They were like, eh.
Yeah,
It's
you
just a
could
bunch
still
of
find them
sentiment.
for...
Like, you really want to buy 8 of these? I was like, yeah.
Yeah.
But then, obviously, world shifted. And then, last year with From the Vault Realms, and then previously From the Vault Legends, those were pretty middle of the road at best.
Oh god, the Lands one was bad.
Not as bad as the Legends one. The Legends one was
I didn't know they did a Legend. Oh, that's the one with Kiki Jiki with the terrible foiling.
Yes.
Yeah, the foiling in that set.
But yeah, that was like before Kiki Jiki was like the modern powerhouse that it is today.
Yeah.
So when that came out, it was like New Teferi, Progenitus, I guess.
Yeah.
With-
So, the other thing from San Diego Comic-Con, more for if you're interested in pimping out your cube, was the release of the
Black on Black Planeswalker.
extraordinarily limited promotional black on black foiled Planeswalkers
Zach, have
set.
you seen these?
No.
Okay,
I'm so confused. You
I'll
said
pull-
it in a joking manner. I didn't think you were being serious.
Oh no, that's
So to bring it back to our cube, which
Liliana versus Soren or something?
no. So that's what they look like, except they're foil. So it was a full set of all the M14 Planeswalkers that look like that.
That's fucking sweet.
So the set was available.
everyone watching, I'm sure you know what you don't
Yes.
need to see it. You get it.
So if you were lucky enough to be at San Diego Comic-Con and get them,
Did you just give
awesome.
them to everybody, or were they like...
No, you had to wait in line and buy them. They were $65 for a set of 5, but they're currently. I have seen eBay postings in like the $500 or more range. Apparently, they were going to sell some on the Hasbro website, like a very limited amount, and they have not said exactly when that's going to be.
No, it got taken down.
They got rid of that.
They scratched that as soon as they saw demand at Comic-Con.
Okay. Well, in that case, if those are about as pimp as you're going to get. I mean, that's basically a full set of like
Star City
buying a
Games
set for $350, that's
about
like-
48 hours ago did say on Twitter they would buy the sealed sets for $350. I think since then that price has probably gone up, and they're probably offering more than that. This is a very limited
Start
item.
going to Comic-Con.
I mean, it's basically like buying 5 book Jasons.
Said every nerd ever. It's going to be better than that. This
Yes.
product is so limited. We're talking about the San Diego Comic-Con Pimp My Planeswalker exercise. Now, for our cube, which is very much the Cadillac of cubes, would this be
so modest. So
would this
modest.
would this be an item you would be interested in playing with? I mean, it is
Oh,
in
hell
English.
yeah. They're in English.
So I have to track this thing down now.
I mean, you don't have to. Like, that's pretty unreasonable.
You don't go for the super pimp cards anyways, right? Like if you want to do this kind of thing, you're gonna need to get a Techless Mutavault. You're gonna get all kinds of things.
Oh my
like-
god!
Yeah,
I'm
like,
still so
exactly.
mad about the last one of those I bought.
So
I'm
like
still
you
so
should just
mad.
you should just stay with original foils and like beta.
I mean,
and,
there's
like,
nothing
match
wrong
your
with the
theme.
consistency that
I mean,
we
that's something we do in the cube. Is we mostly have original printings,
Or
as much alpha beta stuff as possible,
Or
not
like-
as much as a
and original set foiling.
original set
Yeah.
foiling. So
Like,
I
you
am
should
a
just
big
stick
fan.
with that, and like that's your thing. Like if you
My
go off
thing.
the deep end, like you're gonna have to go all the way.
I mean, for me, it was just always got to be English, and a lot of people are always like, "Oh, my Russian foil, blah blah blah." Like, we've got to be able to read
or
it.
you could go like misprint foreign stuff and just play it as misprint. Like that is also a very fun
Hey.
cube.
Japanese curse scroll.
No, it's more like Spanish Moloku.
Yeah.
Those stuff.
Yeah, I mean, like there's a lot of ways you could go with the Pimp My Ride. Cube
The problem is
edition.
we don't even play all of them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like
But they get way better if you play them with their alternate mana costs, right?
No,
I was
we're
talking
talking
about
about
the
the-
Oh, the
Planeswalkers,
Planeswalkers? Yeah, I still think you should put the new Garuk in. That guy's...
6 mana group.
I think that guy's really
we've already talked long about that guy.
Yeah, like Zach like missed that week. And
Yeah,
he was here like
apparently
the week
missed that
after
week.
before.
I would have been a big pro of putting that guy.
Anyway, so there's a lot of exciting things coming out of Comic-Con. They've said now 6 weeks until PAX, and that's when they're going to start showing off actual cards.
Yeah.
for
Rosewater
Theros.
had a great quote where it's like kind of the new part of the new world order of the cycle of the year. Comic-Con is an entrenched thing for Wizards of the Coast now, where Magic has its own panel and it's a big deal. So if you go to the panel in San Diego, or more if you're people like us and you absorb the information, that's the big tease. And then PAX is the big release 6 weeks later. It's
Right. That's the
your
floodgates open.
your tantric section of the new set, where they you walk in the party and there's all the dual lands, there's the new Jace, there's rooms for every guild. You're just you're losing your shit at every room. So hopefully when you get to Theros, the Toga party will be worthwhile, and we'll get to see all the exciting stuff.
That would be...
Mark Rosewater in a toga.
And a lot of people want to tell me that place so much.
Better or worse than the chicken suit.
Probably worse.
So I don't know about you guys, but I love me some Magic, and I love me some Magic nostalgia. And who here drafted a lot of Onslaught? Show of hands.
Drafted it once with you. And I apparently passed this 6 mana green dude, and that was a mistake.
Onslaught was my first draft for
Garrick? No, sorry, Kamal?
No.
Or Silvos?
Yeah, Silvos.
Yeah,
So
don't
that
pass
apparently
Silvos.
was a
What's wrong with
mistake,
you?
Yeah.
Alright. Yeah, was
So-
that at my old house, like way back in the day?
Yeah, we played on your poker table, me, you, Irvin, and...
Like Spencer, Ryan, a bunch of those guys
No,
came over, like
there's
Greg.
only like 4 or 6 of us.
Oh, it must have been the
wasn't a
people.
full thing, yeah.
What?
What?
Wrap it up, box. So, with the parting and the departure of Exalted Angel, we thought, are morphs in Cube anymore? Should they be in Cube anymore? What's the deal, man? Is Magic moved so far past?
The issue with morphs is that obviously there is a finite number of them. They have not printed any more morphs since the original run in Onslaught Block, and then a couple, some in Time Spiral. They have not expanded upon. Morph is on an evergreen mechanic. They're not printing new ones every year.
It could be back in Commander. It could be back in
Theros. You back in Theros.
I was gonna-
Could we put the land morph in the cube?
That's actually on my short list of things that we've never had in. But
I really want that card in the cube.
Anywho.
I just want to blow someone out.
you just want an extra land drop on turn 5.
No, I just want to make someone waste a removal spell.
Anyway.
There's a shitty enchantment for that too, right?
Yeah, I'd rather have a land than a shitty
Anyway.
enchantment.
So, the problem with Morph is this. The cards with Morph in general is better the more Morph you have.
He's just taking a drink of his soda.
The more Morph you have, the better it is. You want people to have that guessing game. If you only have the one, everybody knows what it is. And, if you're trying to play the shell game of, is it a Battering Craghorn or is it a Skirk Marauder?
Commando.
Commando, my bad. Isn't Skirk Marauder a character?
That is from Legions. That's the unmorphed shock guy.
Yeah.
He's also a Brickhead House.
So, playing that shell game, it's only good if you have a lot of morphs. But as the pool of Magic cards for Cube expands, the pool of cards with morph proportionally shrinks. And more of them fail to stack up as time goes on.
Hardly are.
And Exalted Angel was kind of one of the last cards that Morph was actually a relevant part of that card, and was still in the cube. And unfortunately, her day has finally come. But there was a time in cube where every color had at least one morph, and there were you could easily have a deck with even 4 or more. And
I'm not going to say Morph was an archetype, but I would definitely say that Morph
Morph was a thing that happened. Pretty consistently.
Morph happened. And for those of you that remember a few weeks ago when we talked about thematic cubes, we talked about the zombie cube, we talked about the 1994 cube. I'm such a fan. I would actually like to go back in time and actually play with some kind of such a sicko, some kind of onslaught cube. Just
a morph cube.
Just a morph cube. I don't know about that. That's maybe a little too.
Just put every creature with morph in a cube.
Didn't you guys used to have Shaper Parasite? Is that what his name was?
Shaper Parasite. I've only. Yeah, I think we might have played it. Maybe. I feel like I only. Oh, I guess not. I feel like I only played it in Pauper Cube, but
that guy's really good.
So, I mean, certain cards with morph. I mean, so the best example, I think, the last bastion of morph in the cube right now is Blistering Firecat.
And it's not really a morph creature.
Right. Morph is there almost as an afterthought. It's like a mana-fixing morph, you know. You have double red instead of triple red, well, you can pay it extra colorless.
Back in the day, we used to...
Whip Quarter, too?
We used to get under Ensnaring Bridge with that bad boy.
Yeah, so there's all kinds of... And, you know, I like Morph. Morph is one of my favorite set mechanics ever. And it might just be nostalgia because it was my first real draft format that I played and cared about. But I felt like every time, you know, even in Time Spiral Block, Morph I felt was very interesting. And it led to, you know, interesting mind games with your opponent and, you know, trying to figure out what was going on. And it rewarded you for not only, like, recollection of, you know, having a good memory of what was going on and what your opponent played and in what order, but, you know, it kind of added a lot of, like, interesting, you know, bluffing elements sort of to the game that, while present, are not as big of a deal as they are sometimes.
I think one of the biggest, if not the biggest boon to Morph is that it created a lot of creature combat and creature interaction. And as much as Morph kind of punished players that weren't playing a lot of in the time, and with Cube that could be a problem, there was a lot of rewards in attacking, blocking, and making things happen. So with the post-M10 rules, Morph was already at a huge disadvantage because you could no longer stack damage and then...
Right, you could not stack damage and flip a guy, you know, a one toughness guy.
So some of the guys on our old list really got hit on hard. I mean, you know, back in the I made an exhaustive list of every morph creature we've ever played in Cube, from the removal style cards of Effetto Exterminator and Bane of Living to the most tricky of the tricky in the forms of cards like Echo Tracer and my personal favorite, Daru Mender, from back in the day. So, you know, over the years we have kind of waved goodbye to all of these cards, and some of them that really lasted were, you know, Antico Vigilante, Best Shapeshifter.
Zombie Cutthroat lasted quite a while.
The Zombie Cutthroat Gathan Raiders tag team combo was in there for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, even recently I'll still miss the, you know, if you play a Morph and you're the aggro, you know, if you're the aggro deck and your opponent plays a Morph, there's definitely the opportunity of, you know, it's one thing if it's a 3/3. You could pretty much there was a time in Cube where you just assumed it was Gathan Raiders. But there was also a time where it's like, 3/4, I might take on my guy.
Sometimes they would bolt it, and you just get him.
Instead, you love axed me. Like Blazing Salvo.
So, you know, there is certainly... I have very fond memories of Morph, and I look forward to the day where it will be in a set again. And I think that...
I don't know if it will be.
I think they will.
I mean, I'm not going to never say never.
I just realized you cut Shapeshifter?
Yeah.
Did you just cut him recently?
No.
Probably like a year or
That
more
guy's
ago.
so good.
He's like pretty
You
good.
didn't even notice it was gone.
Dude, your cube is huge. I've literally not drafted some of the cards in your cube in 2 years. Like,
Aww.
and they're still there. It doesn't really mean anything.
It's good stuff. No, Shapeshifter was probably one of the hardest ones to cut. I mean, that's the problem. Is it's a blue creature though. Blue creature, like the whole blue section is in. It's like locked in history. It's so hard to work with.
So you think they'll? You don't think they're going to put Morph again?
Not again. Not anytime soon.
Why is that?
It's the downsides of it are too strong. The
downsides being
having to know the insides and out of the format. You can't just we could draft Mirage tomorrow, and
okay.
We don't know most of the cards, but we're never going to end up in this awkward shell game like the Feel Bads. Like the Battering Cragcorn Skir Commando led to a lot of Feel Bads, and no matter how optimally you played, you could just have the Feel Bads. You lost the coin flips.
Okay.
That's not good. I mean, you also slow the game down a lot in a more heavy format, and you push the curve back. Like in Onslaught, you had to work really hard to get the Glory Seeker deck. And it's like you had to work so hard.
Glory Seeker was awesome in that format
because it was a deck.
The 2-mana 2/2 was a deck.
If you drafted all,
everybody played Grey.
If you drafted all the 2-mana, so like
a whole new level.
Beginner level strategy of drafting Onslaught block was like, I want all the cool morphs, and your deck was really slow and full of morphs because of the time and the mana, and that you'd get blown out by tempo. By like, I'm gonna unmorph my 3/4, and now I can block the 2/2s that all my bones are attacking with. Well, take my whole turn and my mana.
So like the next level was.
How come they turned all rednecky?
Next play a lot of morphs.
I don't know.
But I mean, while I agree with you that,
it's just
morph is a complicated mechanic.
I think morph just puts too much skill back into the game.
It takes out some skill.
Yeah,
no,
it puts too much in.
It puts too much in.
You're rewarded for knowing what all the cards are.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, Battering Craghorn Skirk Commando is not good for Magic.
Well, Magic is actually is super successful because at any given time, any random person can come and just be the best player in the world.
Yeah, sometimes you unmorph Phyrexian Cloudscraper after your opponent gang blocked with 6 creatures.
Well, all I'm saying is that element of Magic is kind of what makes Magic very special compared to other CCGs.
Yeah.
That's why other games don't really work.
Sam hits the nail on the head. It's not an NWO style mechanic, which is true. I wish I was wearing my NWO shirt.
I was gonna say Hogan never cast a morph creature.
Vanilla midgets are morph creatures. They're all the same.
Yeah. So it's just not gonna happen. But that's not really,
and it's a shame because I think
I feel like we're at a wake now.
Yeah.
I remember when Morph and I went and got ice cream.
Well, it
was 2006.
It was an interesting
suicide letter of Coastal Tower. Did you read that article?
It was an interesting mechanic that rewarded skill, and I have fond memories of the formats that it existed in, and I have fond memories of it in Cube. And it's sad that they're not going to bring it back because new players get sad about morphs, and that's kind of a sad thing to think about. I would like to think that they could print a set with morph in it and it would work. Especially with another 10 years of design, practice and philosophy.
Never say never. Time Spiral 2, Time Spiral Deeper or harder. I'm sure we'll have double morphs.
Was there any morphs in Plane Shift?
They'll have to be face down and upside down.
What's the one where the Future Sight? Was there any morphs in Future Sight?
Morphing?
Yeah, was there any morphs?
Yeah, that's where Zodiac Cavern is.
That's where the cards
there we go. Sooner or later, they're going to reprint it.
We just had Time Spiral 2.
So the PSA from this whole thing, ladies and gentlemen, was the concept that, take a look at your own cube. If your cube has a lot of morph creatures, maybe analyze why. Maybe analyze what's that doing for you. Is there pro? Is there con? What is it? Why? I think that kind of the time of those creatures has come and gone. And Magic has not only gotten faster and more diverse, but you're not really getting anything out of it, and so that we will miss you, Exalted Angel.
Yeah, it's a shame.
I still think Exalted Angel's good. Should be in the queue.
So slow.
Behind the scenes, there's a lot of arguing and bickering going on.
They know. We talk about it in the show all the time.
Yeah,
I never get my way.
That's not true at all.
Really? You still cut the 2 enchantment or artifacts that told you I wanted.
Oh my gosh.
Never gonna get to the end of that.
That's a show unto itself. I mean,
It's true.
Zach, would you like to explain to the people at home why Sphere of Resistance and Thorn of Amethyst are good cards?
I didn't say they were good cards. I said if you were trying to make
strong argument.
No, coming out of the gates with a big winner.
I said if you were trying to make Goblin Welder an actual thing in your cube, which is what you told me you were doing when you were bringing in during the last episode, I said cards like Sphere of Resistance and Thorn of Amethyst are cards you want in your cube.
Because
they're very good early welder targets. But more importantly, when you don't have your turn 1 or turn 2 welder, they slow the game down enough that you can get to your welder and make it relevant still. And they ignored me and cut my voice.
they are awful top decks.
We listened to your idea, judged it, thought about it for a while, and then realized it was bad.
That's interesting because I just want to shove more.
Oh my god, do I have a... Oh, that's the blue... I have... Oh my... Ow. I saw this blue in my pocket. I've had this dry erase pen in my pocket all day, leaking on me.
That's... Glad that we're talking about this now.
I'm sorry, just like I noticed I had blue on me, and I was like, what's that all about?
Well, that's...
That's the culprit. Sorry. Okay, so back to what I was saying. This reminds me of Patton Oswalt sketch, actually, where it's like everyone's entitled to their own opinions. Anyway, I don't. Terrible top decks. If the board's at parity, even that's not a card I want to draw. Like if there's a board stall
like that.
Yeah,
now
I know.
you're gonna ask me what they are, and I'm not gonna be able to.
That is a card that I only want if I already have Goblin Welder in play and a target I want to weld back into play in my graveyard.
That's not true. That's a card I just want to cast on turn 2.
So that I can hopefully cast my 1-drops
Nope.
that are as powerful as Goblin Welder.
So I can just slow them down. Like, if you're playing this weird...
The Thorn is really bad there, though, because they're like, what are you going to lose to? Creatures?
Yeah.
No. You're going to lose to any control deck. You're just, like, making
How?
your
They're
control
not
deck
casting anything on turn 3 or 4 either.
But it doesn't
That's
matter.
like-
They're now 2-mana counterspell becomes cancel. Like, counterspell becomes cancel, and cancel becomes real shitty. Like, it just slows everything down.
Really trying to see things your way. If anything, you're making a very small case for Sphere. But you're only making it to try to help out Goblin Welder. Like, you think if anything, you'd be
I'm
like...
not saying it only to help out Goblin Welder. I'm just saying...
If anything, I'd think you'd be like, Pentavus. We need Pentavus.
I love the bus. We can get him in board.
Yeah,
I
I
love
Like,
Pentavus.
there's enough like things like
if
that.
anything, I think in order to make Goblin Welder a thing, you need more cards that interact directly with
To be
it.
fair, I don't think we should be trying to make Goblin Welder a thing. I drafted like a very good Goblin Welder deck the other day and went like 0 for 18. Like, I just don't think the card is very good.
Yeah, no.
Like, and we shouldn't be trying to.
I blew out Vin with it the other day. That was actually very interesting. But it wasn't. You know,
I mean, like, so many of the artifacts in Cube are not like actively hitting your graveyard. Right?
All those cards that he's talking about right now, though, like this is like what you want in your Goblin Welder deck, also.
your Strip Mines, your Tangle Wires, your Smokestacks.
Yeah. Like you just want to be this like super resource denial deck, like until you get to the point where you can just take over the game with your weapon.
You're probably one of those guys that also wants Mishra's Workshop.
Well, I mean, if you're going real deep on this, like you might as well, but not normally.
Metalworker.
Yeah, we've kicked around putting a Metalworker a lot.
That's
Never-
always
never
been
pulled
like
the
the
trigger on it,
discussion.
though.
Like,
Well, like if you're doing,
do you want to make like
Metalworker,
the
you
mono
gotta,
brown
like,
deck a thing, and like
bring
have
in staff?
It's so
like, there's all
swingy.
kinds
I mean,
of
that's like the
stuff,
whole like
yeah.
Tolarian. It just brings us back to
it's the Tolarian Academy argument, like just on multiple cards. I mean, if there's enough of them where it's like a reasonable deck, maybe, but like then you're still playing all these cards that nobody else wants.
It boiled down to, I don't think Welder needs those cards to be good. I think Welder can shine without those. I mean, there's plenty of cheap artifacts. We could cut more artifacts to put cheaper artifacts in. We put Pirate Spellbomb back in. We could put Aether Spellbomb back in.
We talk about those all the time.
I know.
Those cards go in and out
this
so
crazy,
much.
it's this artifact shell game in the cube.
I actually think that the other spell bombs are better in this instance because you can still drop a card off of them.
So, coming to a cube near you, Flight Spellbomb?
No, I like the black one.
Black one's already in the cube.
Oh, that's probably the
Origin?
most playable one. I'm just saying, like...
Origin.
Origin Spellbomb?
You draw a
No,
card and then you
one
turn
one.
the token
Well, the token is an artifact.
into an Origin Spellbomb.
Whoa. Did you just create an infinite loop?
Of tap up, tap, pay one, draw a card.
Actually, tap a Welder, tap a white.
Yeah.
Does it?
Yes.
I thought you were the guy that was like had a hard on for Goblin Welder.
No, I don't. I actually don't think the card is good. I was playing
So
Devil's
then who cares if you
Because
don't...
I was playing Devil's Advocate, and you still put the Welder in, but you didn't put the cards in that were going to make it better.
I think it's fine as it is. It doesn't need to be.
You just said it was unplayable.
I think who said it was
He
unplayable?
did. He said it was god awful and unplayable. And I agreed with him, and I still agree with him.
Now you're
I'm
just yelling.
No, I'm not.
You're yelling.
I'm just. Oh, sorry. I didn't mean to yell. I'm just saying, like, if you're gonna put it in, like, you gotta give it a chance, and you gotta put the tools in there to make it.
We are giving it a chance. We are giving it tools. I'm not saying those are the only tools. I'm not
I mean,
saying...
here's the thing: if Goblin Welder needs a dozen cards dedicated to it to make it viable, I don't want it in the cube. Because then you're playing all these cards. It's like the Tolarian Academy thing. You're playing all these cards that no one else wants for this narrow strategy. And that's not what I want our cube to look like. I don't want it to be a bunch of narrow band strategies that don't overlap, which is what you want, for the Goblin Welder deck, if it is a deck. Like, if Goblin Welder can't stand with the cards that are in cube right now, then he should get the axe, and that's that.
Axe him then, and we should just be done talking about it, because he's not...
That is a conversation for the release of Theros.
All
Yeah.
right.
And on that note, it's going to be a short night tonight because we've got some cubing to do, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you all for stopping by this evening. You can follow us on Twitter at Tristan Gregson, at Young Mecca. You can find us every week here around the same time of the week at twitch.tv/Ekamon. I find a new way to fuck that one up every week.
I was going to say, you're 0 for the season.
It's like Faulty Towers, some way. We're also currently hosted on MTG Cast, usually about a week behind. You can find us there. Did you get any good donations this week during the stream sessions?
We did. We got one.
Got a shout out for a donation.
Someone gave like $6 or $8.
Yeah, it's $8. Aaron?
I believe so. That's what the stream said. Again, we're trying to expand and do new things. I'm trying to get...
Yeah, Aaron Orenheim, thank you very much. Shout out.
Aaron.
Dedicated listener.
Occasional live viewer. Thank you very much.
I love it.
He even threw you his Moto username. Give the guy a shout out.
All right.
And even asked you to say hi to me.
Hi.
Hi.
You were done. Okay.
Hi.
From Aaron?
Yeah, hi from Aaron says hi.
We got it, Aaron.
So
full insertion on that one.
How come you keep drawing elves?
So yeah, I'm working on getting my student camera crew to come check out a Cube League session. Did some preliminary tests over there myself. The space might be a bit cramped, audio and lighting, all these things may be issues, but if I can get shit together, we will make that happen. So again, any donations goes to eventually pay for that crew to come out and check out that stuff for a day, and us expanding the show and the things we do. But I know that our number one request from people has been to get some more Cube League hot action going. Mm-hmm. Because obviously we are such proficient streamers that we keep the train chugging along with product.
I streamed. You gotta start streaming.
I wish I could. I don't have that kind of money.
Gotta get on that.
Your laptop good enough?
I got Black Planeswalker money, obviously, but I don't have money for a new computer.
Textless Mutavault foil black foil Planeswalker.
Bought it for $80, sold it for $125.
Do you see how Gaze Cradles just slammed it?
Bought it for $35 because it had like a weird chair mark on it. Sold it for $60.
Anyway, so that's our show for tonight. Thanks everybody for stopping by, and we will talk to you.